Welcome to the best of high school sports in Northern California. We are MaxPreps Sacramento, powered by SMUD.
And we're coming to you from the safe, cozy, warm, and dry confines of Sleep Train Arena for the Sac Joaquin Section Basketball Championships.
Welcome back for another edition of MaxPreps Sacramento, powered by SMUD. I'm Mike Finnerty, joined as always by Joe Davidson, the Sacramento Bee, and we're in the dark press conference room, end of the night here at Sleep Train Arena, but a great weekend of basketball championships.
You know, you think about Sleep Train Arena, it is bowing out to the sparkling Golden One Center downtown, a new arena for the Sacramento Kings and for Sacramento in general. The high school kids have never complained over the 25 years at Sleep Train Arena or Arco Arena, whatever it was called, because it was an NBA venue, still is really, but it was a chance to play in the big time. So neat there. We'll see some of that in some of the highlights, but we get to show you, we're going to show you some of the great teams in Northern California, with more playoffs coming up, the Northern California rounds. The top-ranked team in the country was here. Modesto Christian, the boys, men, in other words, are here. So a lot of good stuff. You'll see some fun and flavor.
Yeah, all good stuff. Locals didn't fare well. Sacramento area teams didn't fare well as we thought they could have, but we do have highlights almost all the games. So sit back, relax. We're going to start it off with the small schools. We'll start off with the Division IV game. First up is the girls with the West Campus Warriors of Sacramento taking on the Brookside Christian Knights of Stockton. This one was a close battle early on, with Brookside taking a 1-point lead after the first and West Campus grabbing a 1-point advantage at the break. With the Knights up by 2 heading to the fourth, they pulled away late behind the play of Arion McDonald's team-high 21 points as Brookside takes it by a final of 69-60, capturing their first Division IV championship and their fourth section championship overall. Next up, we've got the boys Division IV game with West Campus taking on Central Catholic Raiders of Modesto, with the Raiders looking for their first section championship since 1988. West Campus was looking good in the first quarter, up by 5 and in control, but Central Catholic would take a 3-point lead by halftime. Second half was a close one throughout. Jared Rice puts the Raiders up by 1 here midway through the fourth. Then Omri Johnwall, he ups the Central Catholic lead to 4 on the corner 3. And in the final minutes, the Raiders would maintain the advantage, but only by 1. With a chance to win in the final seconds, West Campus comes up short. Central Catholic holds on for a 1-point win, 47-46. Josh Hamilton led the way for the Raiders with 18 points.
No shame for West Campus boys and girls teams. This is a relatively newer program within the Sacramento City Unified School District, 2002. For decades, it was connected to Johnson High School, but now 2 different campuses. So doing some good work for West Campus, reaching the section championships for boys and girls there. Let's talk larger schools for a moment. When you think of the Sacramento Dragons, top ranked by the Sacramento Bee for much of this year, you think of fast, up-tempo, fun, glowering, towering coach Derek Swafford loves this team. For you, for what you do, when you got that camera glued to your face, this is a fun team to do.
It is, and it's been fun watching Christian Terrell and Solomon Young, and we saw them a couple years ago thinking they could be in this spot. Well, Joe, we've got the highlights. They had an impressive win over Antelope, and we've got it all. The Division II game was a battle between a pair of Sacramento area teams. You've got the Antelope Titans in red, looking for their first title at Sleep Train since 2013, matched up against the Sacramento Dragons, seeking their first banner since 2011. We'll pick it up midway through the second quarter. Dragons up by 3 when Solomon Young nails the triple for a 6-point lead. From there, Sac High steamrolled through the second quarter. A pair of back-to-back threes by Savon Hines would up the lead to 11 with 4 minutes left in the half. Andrew Williams delivers here on this baseline drive for a 13-point advantage. And how about Raphael Durr? He knocks down the open jumper for a whopping 18-point lead at 38-20 as the Dragons would go to the midway mark looking good, up 40-25. Antelope came out in the third quarter like a different team, outscoring Sac High 24-16. Big plays by Tim Strayhouse inside, coupled with key baskets from Kai Teese, would cut the Dragons' lead to 7 heading to the fourth. More Titans in the final quarter, with Montel Aaron hitting the straightaway 3 to get to within 4 with 1:39 left to play, but the Dragons step up big in the final minutes and fend off that Titans rally and get a 72-68 win to capture their 6th section championship in their first in 5 years.
My thing about young athletes today is if you want to put the time in, I got the coaching staff that will work with you for 3 or 4 years and you can see results. If you just want to play, I'm not your coach. And this group really had a goal, and each year they got a little better and this year they finally succeeded.
The last 3 years we came up short, especially last year, lost in sections, lost in NorCal. And just to get this, it's just a great feeling, you know.
Man, it feels very good, especially after, these long 4 years and not winning anything and just people telling us that, we fail in the big games. It feels great to bring one back to Sac High.
All right, Mike, a very well-earned win against a terrific, dangerous, well-coached Antelope Titans bunch. This was a game that Sacramento needed, not just to win a championship, but to be tested. Hadn't been tested, only one loss all season to Moreau Catholic earlier this season from Hayward. But Sacramento, like you were saying, Solomon Young, what is it he can't do? He bangs inside, he runs the floor, he contests shots, and he's hitting threes. I don't know if that's really fair. He's going to Iowa State. Christian Terrell could really run the floor, pound up and down the floor. He's going to UC Santa Barbara, experienced, tough, physical. But they got all kinds of other guards. This is a team that wants to exhaust you on defense and run you right out of the gym.
You bet. And one of those guards to mention is Savion Hines, 16 points. 3-pointers everywhere. Christian Terrell
and hair that I admire.
Yeah, I'll bet you do. And Christian Terrell, he didn't have the scoring output he probably wanted, but 11 rebounds
and he had floor leadership and toughness
and a good
smarts.
Second half. Yes. So Sac High, under head coach Derek Swafford and his assistant Earl, get their 7th section championship. Good for them, and they're going to be a powerhouse moving on.
Oh yeah, very much so. And so will Antelope. So the NorCals do continue. The NorCal rounds are this week, next week with the championships back at Sleep Train Arena. So a lot to still play for getting back to the big house here.
I agree. Well, let's keep the highlights going. We got plenty more. Let's check out the girls. We've got the girls' Division I game, and the nation's #1 ranked team, the St. Mary's Rams of Stockton, were looking for their 17th section championship, and this time they were taking on the St. Francis Troubadours of Sacramento. Could the Troubies pull off the upset? Well, not this year. It wouldn't happen as the Rams took a close first quarter lead and dominated from the second quarter on. Up by 5 after the first, St. Mary's went up 53-34 at the half and then outscored St. Francis by 17 in the second half and cruised to a 94-58 win for yet another section championship. For St. Mary's, the only goal every year is to win a state title, and the Rams will continue that march to Sleep Train as the likely favorite in the open division bracket.
All right, Mike, as you can see, that team looks the part as the national #1 ranked team. Now is bearing down on its 11th Northern California championship, wants to repeat as mythical national championships. They don't have a national high school tournament. They'd be playing into June if they did, but fierce, balanced, tough. They suck the life out of you on defense. And Coach Tom Gonzalez, I just wish he cared more.
Yeah, he is intense.
He is very fiery and intense.
He coaches to the very end. He has some looks on his face. He'll scare you and I probably, but
he had me. I was under the table. I was safer down there.
Hey, they're a powerhouse program, no doubt about it. All right, Joe. Well, that's going to end segment 1. We have so many more highlights. Stick around. We had Division 2, Division 3, plenty more. We have Makuni Sushi Trivia, Placer Title Insiders. Stick around.
This is your RAM Auto Update.
Just in, the classic term used car is old-fashioned, outdated, and no longer of any particular relevance. Let's party. The Roseville Auto Mall is throwing a massive factory-certified pre-owned sales event. That means incredible savings on just about every kind of car in the world. All factory certified. It's happening now. It's going fast. In layman terms, skedaddle. The Roseville Auto Mall, driven to be the best.
Welcome back to the very best of high school sports in Northern California. Big, strong emphasis this weekend on championship Sac Joaquin section basketball at Sleep Train Arena. We're in the back media room. We don't have our SMUD banner behind us. They don't allow banners around here. But that is our title sponsor there, and we appreciate their energy. Actually, the lights were flickering in this building tonight, and we said, SMUD, we may need you on the double.
Do you remember what SMUD stands for?
Help me.
Sacramento Municipal Utilities District. All right, Joe, we had a chance to show you Antelope boys going up against the Sac High boys, but now it's time for the Antelope girls. How'd they fare? We got your highlights. Earlier, we showed you the Antelope boys taking on Sacramento for the Division II title. Well, the Antelope girls were also playing at Sleep Train on Saturday for a Division II championship as the Lady Titans were matched up against the Vanden Vikings of Fairfield, the Division III champs. This game was tied at 17 after the first quarter, but Vanden pulled away late in the second and went to the break up by 8. The second half was all Vanden, led by Julia Blackshell's 21 points and Kiana Moore's 20, as Vanden makes it back-to-back section championship wins in 2 different divisions and now has their sights set on a NorCal title as the Vikings move on to the next round.
All right, Mike, so Antelope Titans, coached by Sean Chambers, 1 loss, 29-1 coming in, taking on Vanden, which won a section Division III last year. Vanden, as you could see, is skilled, quick. Wow, that's an impressive team. Both teams will advance moving on, but Vanden in Fairfield is one loaded bunch. Been here a bunch of times, and I don't think you and I could beat their pressure. I think we'd be gassed after about 3 times up the trip, up the floor.
Yeah, that's true. Well, Antelope, they were in the game that first half. They lost it in the second half was really the difference for them. But as you and I talked about, only have 1 senior in that starting group, so they're going to be back again, and they're going to be probably that team who
and the lone senior of note in that starting lineup for Antelope is Angelica Balon. She's considered the heart and soul of the team, according to Coach Sean Chambers. So she'll be a big loss in graduation. But all those other players coming back, this is a championship program in the making and fast forward.
I agree. Well, let's keep the highlights, Joe. Should we jump over to Division III?
Let's do.
All right, let's do it. We'll go to the girls. Girls first. We've got Christian Brothers and Rio Linda. On Friday, they played the Division III championship out at Sleep Train. This game featuring 2 Sacramento area teams as well. The Rio Linda Knights in black and the Christian Brothers Falcons in white. Rio Linda looking for its first title. Christian Brothers seeking its third. And what a start to this game for Rio Linda point guard Brandy Huffines. She looked good early, as did Alexis Zimmerman with some red-hot shooting. The Knights would storm out to an 11-1 advantage and never look back. It was also a big night for Kay Ari, who did her damage in the paint on the boards and also scoring some points with 10. She got 12 rebounds. And how about Dejanay Porter draining a pair of 3-pointers in that second quarter to up the Knights' advantage to 26-18 at the break. Christian Brothers stayed within striking distance in the second half, but the Falcons just couldn't stop the Knights, who played with confidence after falling to Vanden last year in the Division II game. This year, Rio Linda gets it done with a 64-51 win over Christian Brothers to capture that first championship. The father-daughter tandem of head coach Jerry Huffines and his point guard Brandy Huffines, they bring the title home to Rio Linda.
It's extremely special. Not only do I get to share it with my team, but it's something that me and my father will be able to talk about for a really long time, and I'm really grateful for it.
It's a special thing, and been there 16 years, lost a couple section championships, winning baseball, winning basketball, and it's very, 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 I'm proud of these kids. I'm very proud of these kids.
Teams that we played were ridiculous. I mean, ranked number one. We played St. Mary's, ranked number 1 in the nation. I feel like they did a lot of what Christian Brothers did tonight, chase, trap, whatever, and we knew what we were expecting, and we just kept practicing, and we got it done.
I've been playing with these girls, especially Caitlin Clayton, since I was in 4th grade, and being able to share it with all these girls that I've played with for so long, it's just one really special moment and occasion. I can't stop smiling.
All right, Mike, this is a great moment and something that it'll be cherished for years in Rio Linda, and especially the household of the Huffines. Jerry Huffines likes to show off his section championship ring from 30 years ago in baseball, led the city in home runs. He still looks the part that he can clout the ball. And he's so proud of his daughter, Brandy Huffines, who you can see in those highlights, works and she competes, and she's hard to trap and corner and bother, and she played with the flu. She's a champion. She enjoyed it. It's a neat thing for these schools, homegrown kids.
You and I were having lunch up in the arena. It was before the Rio Linda game, and we're sitting there eating, and up comes Jerry Huffines. He's kind of a huss, and he's like, is there any food I can grab, like some cookies or something? I got to give them to Brandy. She's not feeling well. So the cookies worked. I'd say the cookies definitely worked.
And adrenaline kicked in, and she's gritty and tough. And this was a team that was really motivated. Lost a terrific player, leading scorer from last year, Michaela Sanders, who transferred on the eve of the season. And guess what? The team said, you know what, we can do it without her, we think, and they did. And motivation is a strong thing no matter what level of athletics, and Rio Linda wanted to show that it can be a champion regardless of what happened to the roster. And did. Very impressive job. First section championship in 6 tries. Jerry Huffines took over 16 years ago when athletic director Terry Ray said, "Hey, we need you. Can you help us?" And he goes, "Maybe 1 year." He never left.
Yeah. All right, Joe, let's wrap it up with more highlights. Got a few more games. Sit back and here you go. Our final highlight of the show was the final game of the weekend. It's the Division I showdown. It had the Modesto Christian Crusaders squaring off against the defending Division I champ, the Folsom Bulldogs. Folsom also looking for its 3rd straight section championship, which includes its Division II title back in 2014. Folsom grabbed an early lead thanks to the red-hot shooting in the first quarter from senior point guard Jordan Ford. He did it all with a mix of layups and outside shots, giving Folsom a 2-point lead after the first. In the second quarter, Ford finds Mason Forbes inside here, Bulldogs by 5 midway through the quarter. Later, it's Jared Wall hitting a 3 to go up by 3 with 2:15 left in the half, as Folsom would eventually go to the break up by 1. Second half was a much different story as Modesto Christian began to take over the game. Robinson Iden, he flushes it here. Here's Christian Ellis driving the lane and make it a 7-point lead. And how about Jay Chen out in front for the easy layup? He makes a double-digit advantage at 13 points. And momentum continued to the very end as Modesto Christian prevails by a final of 61-45, adding to the school's impressive hoops history, securing its 18th section championship.
All right, Mike, a good game early. The flow and tempo was really kind of taken away with a lot of the referee calls. Both sides were a little disappointed. I think fans who paid $17 for a ticket were a little disappointed. Don't suck the life out of it. This does not take away from Modesto Christian. Earned the win. Monstrous team. Terrific coach. And Richard Midgley, who won section championships as a player back in the day. He's an excellent coach. And size. Big guys inside. Terrific guards. Avenged the only loss all season. Modesto Christian does. And Folsom is still alive. We'll still have another chance here. So the only guy who scored in double figures for Folsom was Jordan Ford.
And he did most of that in the first half.
Yeah, and so it was it's hard to win here, and you got to give credit to Modesto Christian. They really played well, and the size inside really was a factor.
Well, as you and I talked about, a lot of people here talked about, the open division is not going to have that dominant team, dominant player. So as you see Folsom walking out, not completely disappointed, certainly wish they'd won, but I think everyone entering that open division is going to feel like, hey, we've got a shot. So,
and this is the beauty of the open division this season. There is no Ivan Rabb type, and there's no Aaron Gordon type, and those two monster athletes dominated the open division the last several years.
Or Stanley Johnson.
And Stanley Johnson from Southern California. So now the open division has anybody who could win. It could be Sacramento High. It could be Modesto Christian. It could be Morrow Catholic, De La Salle. Wow. Pretty good. Pretty good. Could be Folsom.
It's going to be interesting.
It's going to be fun because there's not that. I mean, Mike, the last couple of years, well, nobody's going to get past Ivan Rabb. And before that, well, nobody's going to clear Aaron Gordon. These are NBA men going against high school kids. There's not even a 5-star recruit in Northern California on any of these rosters, meaning it's wide open, and I think that's cool.
I agree. Well, good first half of the show. Plenty of highlights. Like I said, when we come back, we will talk about our Placer Title Company insider spots. We'll give you our Makuni Sushi trivia question, and we'll wrap up the show. Stick around.
Thinking about whether a solar power system is a good fit for your home or not?
Here, try this instead.
SMUD can help. If you've got questions, SMUD's got answers. Check with SMUD before signing a contract. Visit smud.org/solaranswers.
Welcome back to the best of high school sports in Northern California. We are Max Preps Sacramento, brought to you by our good friends from SMUD. Normally we do this.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But we don't have a banner there. They don't allow banners here. They barely allowed us here.
Yeah, we brought our banner, but arena officials kicked us out with it, so we brought you a real boring background. Sacramento Municipal Utilities District, we can't say it enough, our proud title sponsor, and we appreciate all they do for us. So, Placer Title Company Insiders. Our Placer Title Company Insiders. Placer Title Company, your title and escrow company in Northern California since the 1970s. All right, Joe, there is some coaching news with parental influence. I can't imagine, but you've got the scoop. What is it?
Parents, you need parents, obviously. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. And high school coaches need their support, but they don't need their noise. And we've seen two really good coaches in this last week, one for baseball and one for football in the Sac Walking section, and they are out in large part because of parental push. Let's start with football. Jason Tenner up at Ponderosa in Shingle Springs is out. He was been dismissed. He's been there since 2007 and didn't win enough. Parents have been after him for a few years. We've got a lot of this stuff in the Sacramento Bee inbox, mail. He's too rough. He's too brutish. I never saw it. A lot of people didn't see it. There's people at school who are a little miffed about it. He's out. And it's going to be interesting, who's the new football coach? And you lose a football coach, but he's still an on-campus teacher. In baseball, in the Oak Grove Unified School District, Pleasant Grove has dismissed and relieved Rusty McLean on the eve of the season. And I've known Rusty for a long time. He's upset by this. He's hurt. But the administration at Pleasant Grove said, we warned you. We got issues with parents, confrontations, things of that nature. We move on. And so now that team is trying to pick up the pieces on the eve of the season. Mike, you've coached Little League youth ball. You've had kids who played high school sports in Placer County. Parents, this is not new. In my 28 years at the Bee, this is a constant theme in sports across the board and sections across California.
I think it's getting worse, though. I really do. You see more and more coaches leaving. You talk to them. You're saying the pressure, the buildup, the parents. It's a year-round job. It's kind of the trend now. And the winning dominant programs are not amused. Casey Taylor at Del Oro football is constantly under pressure. Mike Albergini at Grant football is constantly under pressure. These are winners. These are champions. So it's new schools, older schools, public schools, private schools, a lot of pressure to achieve and win. And the thing about parents is they'll swoop in for a couple of years. Their kids are only there for 2 or 3 years, and then they're gone, but the damage is done. Yep, I agree. Well, sad to hear. We like Jason, and of course, they'll fill that spot, and everyone moves on. That's the sad part. All right, Joe, that's going to end our Placer Title Company. Insider's Placer Title Company, your title and escrow company in Northern California since the 1970s. When we come back for break number 4, we'll go trivia question and answer in the same segment. How about that? And we'll wrap up the show and look back at the weekend. But we're going to go out on some sights and sounds from Sleep Train Arena.
More action coming up here tonight at Sleep Train Arena.
This is your RAM Auto Update.
Just in, the classic term used car is old-fashioned, outdated, and no longer of any particular relevance. Let's party. The Roseville Auto Mall is throwing a massive factory-certified pre-owned sales event. That means incredible savings on just about every kind of car in the world. All factory certified. It's happening now. It's going fast. In layman terms, skedaddle. The Roseville Auto Mall, driven to be the best.
DC's 4K
Thinking about whether a solar power system is a good fit for your home or not?
Here, try this instead.
SMUD can help. If you've got questions, SMUD's got answers. Check with SMUD before signing a contract. Visit smud.org/solaranswers.
Welcome back to the very best of high school sports in Northern California. We are Max Prep Sacramento, brought to you by our good friends from
SMUD.
We're there.
We have our banner, the Sacramento Municipal Utilities District, and we're kind of keeping our voices down. There's people in the press room still working here at Sleep Train Arena as they close lights and boot us out of the arena area. But Joe, let's do it. McCooney trivia. I think I got
with
one
a good
for
one.
you.
This
I
is
think
a
I've
championship
got one for you.
weekend.
Okay, let's do it. There were 3 teams that played at Sleep Train Arena over the weekend for section championships, and those 3 teams had a head coach who had either a son or a daughter on those respective teams. Can you name those 3 teams, the coaches and the kids? Come on, mister. 30 years.
Yeah, I'll name 2 of them.
Go for
Mike Wall of Folsom and his Energizer son, Jared.
Good one, yep.
Ria Linda girls, Jerry Huffines the coach, his daughter Brandy Huffines, and I'm going to defer to you on the third one.
Well, you just lost out on the $1 million prize, but the third one would be Antelope and Mr. Richards, head coach there.
Rob Richards.
And his son, Jordan. How about that?
So Jordan, runs amok in the Richards family.
Yeah, and when you say Jordan Richards, it's not the one that plays for the Patriots. He used to go to Folsom.
There would be a
High.
CIF eligibility concern if that was the case.
Hopefully no one else. But yeah, those are the 3. So
those are the ones that we care about. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Joe, any big thoughts? Really, overarching thoughts as you look back on the section championships? Anything stand out to you?
Just the experience is such a neat one for the high school kids. The NBA has frowned on this old arena for a long time. It's outdated, it's antiquated, but the high school kids love it. Yeah. I mean, it's a fun thing. It's the last year for Sleep Train Arena. The high school championships for the section, NorCal, and CIF state championships been a fixture here for 25 plus years. Will they arrive at the Golden One Center, the new Kings Arena next year? We don't know. All of that is still up in the air.
Possible.
There's bids out there. But right now, we've got more Sleep Train events coming up. Basketball-wise, the Northern California Championships will be here in a couple of weeks, and the CIF State Championships will cap what I think has been a very good basketball season. So there's more. This arena is going to bow out with some noise.
Yeah, it will. And I'm feeling nostalgic as I walk around and think, it's hard to believe this dump that we want gone forever. It's going to be gone, thankfully, but a little weird. But my thoughts looking back, the Huffines, Jerry and his daughter Brandy, Ria Linda getting that family win. Those are homegrown players. They lost their best player from last year, and they still get it done.
Lost her to a transfer, and
Michaela Sanders,
and they came back. And then also thoughts on Modesto Christian basketball. Richard Midgley, terrific coach. It took a terrific team and a great effort to beat the defending champion Folsom, and that's what happened.
Yep. And then St. Mary's. Sometimes you take them for granted. Top team in the country. They're so dominant every year. State champs.
You have to see them
to
appreciate them.
You do.
And
You get
an
used to their dominance.
Outfit, yes.
And you don't want to get too used to it, but they're a treat to watch. So packed weekend. We have plenty more hoops galore the next few weeks. Can't wait, folks. Thank you for watching once again, and we'll see you next week.